Good morning, Little Masters, and welcome back to today's Tolkien Times. I'm the Man of the West, also from the Prancing Pony podcast. Let's get started with Week 43's Word Nerd Wednesday. Now, last series, we spent most of our time looking at words from A Long Expected Party, the readings from our Third Age Thursday sessions. But the last couple of weeks, we looked at words from Aldarion and Arendis, including 7 different words in Week 41, and then 6 more last week on the fragrant trees of Numenor. This week, we go back to A Long Expected Party, and a word that we ran into last week. Now, it's a word we all know, but maybe not quite as well as we think. Last week, we read about the moment that a curious change came over Bilbo's voice. It was sharp with suspicion and annoyance. "You are always badgering me about my ring, but you have never bothered me about the other things that I got on my journey."
"No, but I had to badger you," said Gandalf. "I wanted the truth. It was important."
And so today, we're going to look at Badger. No, not the crook, the businessman from Firefly. And not Danny Ricciardo, the Formula One driver affectionately known as the Honey Badger. No, I'm going to look at the verb badger and the animal from which the verb comes. Now, for those not familiar with the animal, badgers are short-legged omnivores from the same animal family as otters, wolverines, minks, weasels, and ferrets. They vary in size, but the European badger, which was the animal for which the word badger was originally applied, is typically 25 to 30 pounds, small head, stocky body, and a short tail. As for the word nerdery, the OED says that the word badger, which likely dates back to the 16th century, probably derives from badge and the suffix ard, which is a reference to the white mark on the animal's forehead, looking a lot like a badge, and not like, say, the White Hand of Saruman. But the French word bicheur, digger, has also been suggested as a source. But if we want to go further back, and we always do, there is an archaic Middle English synonym, boson, dating to the late 1300s, which is from Old French boson, which literally means black and white spotted. But even further back beyond the influence of French, in Old English, yay! Pre-1066, there was a different name for the badger, Brock. And it's one we see in a Hobbit name, the Brockhouse family, some of whom were in attendance at the party. Now, in Old English, it was a borrowed word from Celtic, and it's actually cognate with other loan words in Gaelic and Welsh. Now, that's the noun, the animal known as the badger. But how did we get the verb badger? Its meaning is to attack persistently, to worry, to pester, and it dates to 1790. And here, well, I thought it would be an interesting story. The truth is, it's a very disturbing story. I almost had to choose another word, so I think I need to warn you. The next bit is disturbing, and it involves descriptions of animal cruelty that, thankfully, the practice is no longer legal or widely done. The verb badger is based on the behavior and actions of dogs in a medieval blood sport known as badger baiting. Badgers are normally pretty chill animals, but when they're cornered or threatened, they can be very dangerous, very fierce. They're equipped with powerful claws and a dangerous bite. They're definitely a formidable foe when cornered. Now, the online etymology dictionary, where I go for a lot of my word nerdery before I get to the Oxford English Dictionary, cites the Century Dictionary's definition of badger baiting. A badger is put into a barrel, and one or more dogs are put in to drag him out. When this is effected, he is returned to his barrel to be similarly assailed by a fresh set of dogs. The badger usually makes a most determined and savage resistance. As would I. Now, of course, that definition, written well over 100 years ago, is thankfully tame and not particularly graphic. I will save you the trauma of more graphic descriptions, but it suffices to say that the sport almost always resulted in the death of the badger, and quite often serious and fatal injuries to the dogs as well. Still, the activity was popular in 18th century England as a new betting opportunity, and though it has long been outlawed, it is still sometimes practiced in rural areas, just like dogfighting and other cruelties. Now, honestly, when I thought I would explore this word, I figured it would be a cute or fun exploration. I rather like badgers. I mean, I'm thinking of the little animated meme, with the badgers popping. I mean, who doesn't love badgers? Instead, this exploration has been quite the opposite of cute or fun. It's been really hard. All I can say is I'm grateful the sport is no longer legal, and I hope that we can finally shut it down everywhere it's still practiced in the shadows. In its awful and bloody place, we are left only with the verb badger. Now, Go donate to an organization that prevents cruelty to animals, and we'll look for happier words next week. For now, though, folks, that is it for today's Word Nerd Wednesday. Come back next week as we wander the wide, wild, wonderful world of words weekly on Wednesdays. And if there's a word you want to know more about, please let me know by emailing bartleman@theprancingponypodcast.com. Please visit patreon.com/TolkienTimes to learn how you can support the show, get an ad-free feed, a monthly hangout with me, a bonus weekly episode, and a lot more. Join me again tomorrow on today's Tolkien Times for Third Age Thursday. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Please follow or subscribe in your podcast apps and follow @Tolkien Times on all your social media. And finally, as Faramir says, go with the goodwill of all good men.